Hi, I'm Wilma Yost, and this is an Artway shape frame. And we're going to use today the Mylar hole templates. These are placements, hole placement templates that will assist you with your shape frame to make it into a button or a bead, or to position the holes for it to become maybe a pendant or a pair of earrings. So with the Artway shape frame, we have a frame plate and a pusher plate, and we'll be using Mylar hole placement templates. Now these are these are actual clear Mylar, but you'll see that we've left the blue film on so that the camera can actually pick them up a little bit better, especially when they're placed over the surface of our shape frame design. So the first thing you want to do is actually put a little bit of cornstarch on your work surface and place the frame shape on top, and then we're going to dust a little bit of cornstarch through there too. We don't want to get too crazy with it because we want it to stick to the inside frame area but not necessarily to our work surface. So now we're going to push the well-conditioned clay. This could be a sheet of clay with perhaps a detail on it. In this case, we're just using a neutral color or a plain color of clay, and we're going to use the sculpture thumb so I can save the stress on my knuckles and joints, and we'll flip it over so that we can see that the actual detail is completely filled. We can even see a little bit of the cornstarch that's visible. Now we take a blade. We want to slide the blade across the excess and slide the blade across, pivot our work surface a little bit. Obviously you want to be very careful and not bring the blade all the way over to your hand or your fingers. And remove the excess clay. Now we have a little bit of clay left around the frame. That's okay. We can take our soft ball of clay, pick up some of that loose clay, clean up the edges, so that we have a nice pristine surface. Now with the Artway shape frames, you get a nice perfect shape and a consistent thickness because they're available in multiple shapes, a huge variety, and several thicknesses. Now that we have the surface here nice and cleaned up, we're going to take again a little bit of dusting of cornstarch. At this point you could actually put a little bit of detail. So you'd bring a stamp of your choice, press into it, get a nice detail, and now because we're going to make a button with our Mylar hole placement templates, we want to choose whether this particular shape needs 2 holes or maybe 4 holes, and do we want them to be close together or wider apart. So we're going to take a look here and decide with this particular shape as I line up the outside edge of my template, and I notice that I have wide placement of 2 holes, option number 2, 4 holes, and this is also a wide placement. And remember that you're considering the shape of your buttons and what would best suit the shape. So if we chose the 2 holes, they're a little bit too close in the center, not a very good placement, but if you had lots of detail here in your stamp, you might want to make it more visible and have the holes not interrupt that shape. But for this purpose, we're going to use the wide placement, so it's visibly easy for the camera to pick this up. You want to take your pin tool and make your pilot holes. And now you can see you've got 2 very perfectly shaped pilot holes in this button shape, so that every time you make your buttons, if you're making a series of them, they'll all have that perfect shape, perfect thickness, and the placement of the holes for stitching will be lined up in the exact same place every time. Now you want to release your button shape from your Mylar surface. Okay, and we're going to bring our pusher plate over and line it up all around the outside edge so that we can lift our pusher plate into position, bring all of the corner edges together. You'll hear a little click sound as we release the clay to the frame surface so that we don't have to mess up our outside edges. And you heard a little tiny click sound, and there's our perfect little shape with its nice perfect consistency as far as the thickness. Got a little bit of debris on my blade. Let me clean that off. We'll slide the blade underneath and remove it from the shape frame surface. Just tip it up just a little bit. There we go. And now it's ready to go in the oven. I cook everything for at least 45 minutes. And for this particular brand of clay, I will cook it at 275. You want to check the packages for your brand of clay and set your oven thermometer for that temperature. And so that is our perfect little button. And we're ready to make a series of more with the same shape or different shapes and the same placement of buttonholes or different ones as well. So that's the Artway shape frames and Mylar hole templates.